Hey guys, welcome back. Mike Morgan here. We're going to take a quick minute and go over our social media pack assignments. I want to show you Dylan's work. He kicked some butt. Yeah. So, Dylan here, he did a great job on his social media pack. He did, so when you create these things, it looks kind of boring when they're all just kind of by themselves and whatnot. Like this is his YouTube video thumbnail. This is YouTube video header. His Facebook header. It's right. They look kind of boring right there, but when you put them into action, profile picture, YouTube profile picture. That's what this one is. But he took the time to actually employ them into his social media, and so this is how it's gonna look. So he's got his profile picture and he's got a great header. So he did an awesome job. As you can see, it looks really good. It looks professional. It looks like it just looks professional. So that's what we wanted. And then he used it. Dylan also used it on his YouTube channel, and it looks great. Looks killer. And on his Instagram as well. So good job, Dylan. Killed it. Just wanted to brag about Dylan for a minute. And there was a bunch of other good ones. There was a few that kind of sucked, I'm going to be honest. But we're all learning. I just wanted to show you, a really good one. Let's see. I'm going to go over, so Dewey here, she got kind of stuck on hers. Let me see. I want to show you guys if I can get this over here. I'm trying to drag it over here. Let me get rid of this window for a minute. So Dewey's got a situation here where you need to expand the strokes, and so her logo looks like this. Watch the raindrop. It's a great logo. It looks killer. I love it. But each one kind of changes a little bit. The raindrop. You wouldn't notice it right away, but as you can see, it does change quite a bit. And there is a reason for that, and that is expanding the stroke. So I want to go over what that is and what that means. So another thing that we need to probably go over a little bit more is what it means to outline your texts. I kind of went over that before, but outlining your text is really important because I'll show you why. So here's a stroke. Here's a stroke, and so I have it set at 3.92 whatever stroke, right? So if your machine's not set up and the preferences, when you shrink it down and raise it up, that stroke's going to change proportionally. Not proportionally, actually. So let's say I blew it up really big and I ended up with like a thin stripe, and I shrunk it down and I had a fat stripe. So the way you want to do that is you want to take this stroke, select it. You can go to Object and expand. This little window will pop up here. You're going to hit OK. And now it's not a stroke anymore, it's a shape. And so somebody can shrink it down and enlarge it and do all that, and it'll still maintain its proper proportion. So what I think's happened, and then real quick, text, if I just send this to a client, they may not have this font, so it might default to some different font. So you have to select your fonts, right click, and hit create outlines. Okay, so let's say I had this and I had a font and I did the outlines, and then I added a stroke color. let's say I added a yellow-ish color. Okay. So that also, this stroke also would need to be expanded. So I'd select them all, go to Object, and Expand. And as you can see, it changes it from a stroke to like a shape. Okay, so when I shrink it down, it'll maintain that look. So if I hit undo and undo one more time, I'm now a stroke again. This is just a stroke, and I can make it fatter and all that. Once you expand it, you don't have all these stroke options. But if I were to shrink this down, if your settings, my settings are kind of dialed in so that doesn't happen, but this yellow would become so thick that it would actually engulf the red completely, and it's just wouldn't be what you wanted. So what I think was happening with Dewey's Raindrop or Dewdrop is she had a shape that was similar to this. Okay, I'm just going to do this real quick just to get it. Let's say that was her shape. Hers is better than this one, but I think she had. I think she might have had a profile on here to where it had that rustic edge to it. And so let's say I had this one right here that goes from thin to thick. Okay, and so if I want to keep that forever the way that looks, I'm going to go to Object, Expand Appearance, and it will turn it into a shape. So now it will always maintain that appearance. Okay, so if I go undo, 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 it's like a stroke right here, right? So I can make it thicker. But then once I go Object, Expand Appearance, it's going to turn it into an actual shape. So as you can see, if I selected them all and did ungroup, there are actually two different components now. That's a shape and that's a shape. So then they can be expanded and enlarged, and no distortion happens with the non-proportional stroke width. Wow, I really over-explained that, but it is kind of weird to get used to. So the whole point of my small demo about expanding and outlining text is that you can get an image to look the same at any size for everything, but more importantly, text will get really screwed up if somebody doesn't have this. So I need to, when I'm about to send this to print, so I need to select all these texts, and I can either go to Type and hit Create Outlines, or if I want to go faster, I can just right-click my mouse and go Create Outlines. Okay, now I don't have to worry about the printer having that font, because it's not a font anymore, it's now just a shape. But you want to do this at the very end, and maybe even do it on a copy in case I like to do it on a copy. Sometimes I'll just pull one to the side that hasn't been outlined in case it needs to be edited later. You know, and the client won't see this, or the printer won't see this. I just send the printer this stuff. You know, this is like a production ready file. Okay, so this is just a shape, so that doesn't need to be expanded. By expanding, I mean an Object and Expand. I don't need to do that because it's just a shape. This, I've converted it to a shape, so I know that's good. There's no fonts. You can also select your whole image and just go to Type in case you miss something. If that's grayed out, that means you're good to go. Create outlines. If that's grayed out, that means you already created the outlines, or it doesn't need to be done anyway because you don't have text. Okay. That was about it. You know, I was gonna do, maybe I'll save this for later, but this is a different job that I'm working on that I might show you guys how to vectorize this. Let's do it now. Okay, so, or at least part of it. Another thing I wanted to show you was, okay, so this guy's a musician and he's wants a logo for his music empire. Okay, so I drew this, and this could be drawn on paper and taken with your iPhone and then brought into Illustrator, but I drew this directly into Photoshop, so it's all scribbly and scratchy, and I erased and redrew. Okay, now, right now it's in Photoshop right now. Okay, so I can either take a screenshot or save a JPEG and bring that into Illustrator. Let's see. You know what? I think I can just drag it into. Oh, not when it's like this. I think I can just drag it in. Drag that one layer in. So I got that one layer, and I'm going to just drag it into Photoshop, or I mean Illustrator, from Photoshop to Illustrator. Yeah, and it did work. So I want to show you, I shouldn't be doing it on this client's file, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I want to show you, if you wanted to trace some art, a cool thing to do is select your art. So this, like I said, this could be a photo you took on your iPhone, it could be a JPEG, anything that you drug into Illustrator, it's fine. Okay, now I want to convert this from a bitmap image and I want to vectorize it. But I can't just do the auto trace. Let's see what it looks like if I did. If I hit up here, image trace, it's going to say all this jargon. If you had a mega clean drawing, it would work great. So that's what it would look like vectorized. Which, I mean, may be cool if you want super like rough scribbly look. Okay. Oh yeah. And by the way, I would have to finish that process, I would have to hit expand, which means boom, then it's actually vector. And don't forget, if I hit undo and go back a space, back a step, right before you hit expand, you have all these tracing results that you can mess with. So right now it's just on default, these presets, but you can do silhouette. Let's see what a silhouette looks like. So it looks a little different. You can do, and see how it doesn't have the white of the paper. It just has, it's like clear background. So that may be good for like a logo. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that there is these presets. You know, some of them are really weird. Like technical drawing, I never use this one because it always just has a really weird outcome. But I'll show it to you anyway. So it's on technical drawing for the preset right now. Yeah, not what I need. Okay, so that is that. But, like I said, I'm not going to do an auto trace, which is what I was just demonstrating. I'm going to do, I'm going to just basically vectorize it with the pen tool by tracing it, because I got a certain look. Is that my original one? No. I'm hitting undo to go back a bunch of steps. I want this to be faster. Just drag this back on here again. So I have my pencil drawing, and this is what I want. What I would do is go to these layers, and if you hit the drop down menu right here, you're going to see that this item that I have selected will have a little blue dot. Anything selected will have a little blue dot. See if it's unselected, it disappears. So I can take that, and I know I just want that to just stay still. So I can lock it right here. That's the little lock icon. Now I can draw with the pen tool over it, and it won't move anywhere. But what's even more helpful is if I unlock it and select it again, I can do the opacity down a little bit, which is right here, and take it from 100 to like 30. Okay, now when I go back to my layers, I can lock it again, and it will not move, and you can't select it. So now what I can freely do is take my pen tool and just start tracing it in the way that I want and editing it. So what I would do is I would just go like this, and I'd probably use this, just the stroke only, so I can see what's going on. And I just want to show, I'm not going to do the whole thing because it'll take too long and you guys will get bored. But I just want to show you. So I have that, and this is what I do. You don't have to do it all in one go. In fact, don't do it all in one go. Okay, maybe I want this little tail coming off. And I'm going to merge them all together though. I'm going to weld them all together. Okay, so let's say I had those. I'm selecting all three of them, and I'm going to swap the fill and stroke. Okay, but let's say I love it. Okay, I love the way that looks. Let's pretend. And then I'm going to pick my Pathfinder up and unite them. And basically I keep doing that process throughout the whole thing. And then at the very end you can just do weird effects like drop shadows or change the color and really dial it in a little more. In this case, I'm going to do the whole logo all clean like this. And then at the very end, I'm going to put like a distressed texture over everything so it looks like a stamp or like looks kind of rustic or old. So that's my game plan on this logo. This is how it's going to turn out. See, so I have my part of my E, and then I can hit the swap, and then otherwise, now I'm going to do the inside of the E, so I'm going to just use the stroke. And once again, I'm going to create a couple components and then merge them together if I like them. And your drawing, see that drawing is just a great guide. That pencil sketch is just a great guide. And I can select them all and weld them together, and then they're all one piece, okay? See that? Alright, and then, like I said, you can really mess with it when you're done doing everything. Like you can give it a stroke. And did I give it a stroke? No. You can give it a stroke and start messing with drop shadows and things like that, which are over here. Outer glows. Under the appearance, you can do add new effect, and do like a drop shadow. Preview to see it. So then that's when you start making it all trippy. Alright, so that's how you take a drawing that you made on your desk or you made on a piece of paper, and you just take a picture of it with your cell phone, or you can use a scanner, or whatever way you want to drag it into Illustrator, and then you're going to use these little layers. Remember, there's layers that in Illustrator that can drop down, and then there's also actual create a new layer, right? And as I put content in there, it'll have its own drop down too. So Photoshop isn't really set up like that. So remember, any one of these drop down layers can be locked as well. And like I said, I like to set the opacity down on my real drawing so that I can trace over it with the master artwork or the vectorized artwork. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. We're going to talk about our homework assignment for this week. It's going to be so fun. All right, where's the hype up? Where's the outro? Here we go.